Welcome back to my channel. My name's Chloe if you've never seen me before. Y'all know the vibes. It is a rainy, cold day outside. Let me show you what it's looking like out here. Rainy, cold, like just not the vibes, right? So I was thinking, why not I have to get ready for work. I have work in about 2 hours right now. It's currently 1:58, and I thought, why not just film a full, like, in-depth makeup routine, like start to finish, what I do. And I was like, I have the time, so let's do it. It's currently 1 in the morning. Actually, yeah, it is literally 1 in the morning, and I'm currently editing this video. I didn't mention this when I started recording this, but please grab a drink, put this on in the background of something, because this is a long fucking video. I did not realize that this video was going to be so long while I was recording it. So this is editing me telling you to get comfy, and if you stay till the end, love you so much. Okay, bye. This is going to be a really just in-depth routine. Like the last video that I made, I kept everything very brief, but today I'm going to be doing it very full in-depth. So let's get started. I'm going to start by pinning my hair back. Let me get some clips going. I have these little like clips, like these are so cute. I got them at Marshall's and they're just like the cutest things ever. So I'm gonna preface this routine by saying that I do have oily skin. So all of these products, like everything, this is all gonna be based for oily skin. So if you don't have oily skin or you have dry skin, I don't know how this will work for you, but maybe still watch it anyway because you might learn a thing or two. I'm gonna start by going in with 2 products. The first one is gonna be this La Roche-Posay. This is the Daily Moisturizing Lotion. This stuff feels so good. I found that, I'm pretty sure I said this in my last video, but if I didn't, I have learned that your makeup prep is so key to how your makeup actually turns out. And again, like I said last video, mirrors over the back, if you're wondering why I'm looking away. But yeah, I usually do about a couple pumps of this and I really just like rub it all in. This stuff is super light. So it is winter time, so I will sometimes go in with heavier products, but for the most part during the winter, like in general, I keep my products very light. Like I don't do really heavy stuff because it just doesn't soak into my skin very well. Next, I'm gonna go in with some sunscreen. This is the Vanna Cream sunscreen. This stuff also super light and it rubs in really easily. It does leave a little bit of a white cast, but once we like put products and everything on top, that really won't matter as much anymore. And I just really work this into my skin, on my forehead, under my eyes especially, and then I pull all the excess down onto my neck. And once it's done, my skin is looking very nice. I'm looking up here. The lighting is picking up really white, but it actually looks pretty even in real life. So now while I'm letting this sit in, I'm gonna go in and do my eyebrows. When I do my eyebrows, I don't do anything really crazy. All I use is, this is the e.l.f. Brow Lift. It's just like this clear gel and it holds everything down pretty well. And then I just use this little spoolie brush. Gosh, it's looking a little crusty, which is a little scary. But I basically just go in, I just take a little bit like that and I just go over my brows and basically just shape them down. I'm looking at my viewfinder to see if this looks okay. Yeah, and I pretty much just shape them down to like the normal shape, make sure that the tail is crisp, and then I'll do the same on the other side. I try not to use a lot of this because sometimes it does start to flake. Boom. Again, I am a server, so this routine also does last me a pretty long amount of time. When it comes to makeup, my biggest concern is longevity, so I need it to last like at least 8 hours. I need it to stay looking decent, and this routine lasts for sure. Okay, so I've been letting this moisturizer sit for a couple minutes. I found that if you immediately start putting on like either your foundation or concealer, whatever next product that you have right after you put your moisturizer on, it just mixes really weird and it doesn't set well. So I've let this sit for a couple minutes. Now I'm gonna go in with the LYS. This is, I believe it's like their skin tint kind of foundation stick. This stuff is so good though. This is in the shade LN3. This is like their light shade. You can see that it is like kind of just this stick. I usually roll it up like that. I have a piece falling off. And I will go in and put a few swipes on. This stuff is so creamy. The Hype about this is real. I will put a little bit on my forehead. I try to keep products off my forehead because my forehead tends to get really oily. So I try to not go super crazy on my forehead. I'm gonna start off by blending this with a wet, damp beauty blender. You can see it's really squishy. It helps. People say that you don't need to do this, but I personally find that if my beauty blender is like really squishy like this, it blends in a lot easier. So I'm just gonna start looking at my viewfinder here and look at how that blends out. It's literally so gorgeous. I also try to keep it away from my eye area because I do plan on putting concealer there. I also have an olive skin tone, so sometimes these products will look kind of yellow on me. But it's weird because once I put bronzer and everything on, it does like come together. I always have a really hard time finding products that like match my skin tone because sometimes it looks too yellow, like too warm, and then sometimes it looks too cool. But this stick is pretty close, like to my, it's pretty close. So I'm gonna blend all that in. And then sometimes I will take a brush. This is the Sephora 88 brush. And I'll just pat all of it in. Since I do have oily skin, I try to stick away from products that are too matte or too like dewy, I mean, because once the oils start setting in, it just doesn't look good. So blending all of that together. Yup, that looks fantastic. Getting all that in there. Beautiful. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with bronzer. I'm also gonna use the LYS stick. This is their bronze, okay, come on camera, focus. This is their bronzing stick, and this is in the shade, I wanna say like No Limits or Motivation? I don't know, I don't really know what the shade color is, but that's what it says. The packaging looks like this. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this down my cheekbones, about that much, and across my forehead. I really like to bronze up my forehead because I kind of got a big forehead a little bit, so we really like to cover that up. I'm gonna put just the smallest amount down here. I'm gonna add a little bit more and call it a day. Then I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna use this brush right here, kind of like an angled brush. This is actually from TikTok Shop. If you've seen that brush set that they have, this is from the brush set, and I'm just gonna start blending this in. I used to use the Say cream bronzer. It came out of that little pan and it was good for a while. But the issue that I noticed with it is that it didn't last very long. And that's my issue with a lot of cream bronzers is I notice, or even liquid bronzers too, like they just don't last. And bronzer is like my favorite makeup product ever. So I like to, when it doesn't last, I get really like upset honestly because then I look all pale again. Especially since we are in winter, I need to like be bronzed up. So I'm just blending this in as usual, and especially down on my chin here. I like to pull this down my neck, and it's not overly bronzy, but it just gives you enough life back into my face, as you can see. I also do underpaint, so I will be doing my concealer last. I've gone back and forth between like underpainting and, you know, doing concealer first and whatever, but I find that I like to do my concealer last because then I can really pack on these products and then the concealer can just like cover it all with there still being enough left. I think I'm gonna add a teensy bit more on the sides, and then again, just gonna blend this in. Also, these LYS products, I think I'm gonna try and buy their blush soon. They didn't have a shade when I went to Sephora at the time. They didn't have a shade that I liked, but these products blend in so nice. And while I'm doing this, I'm just going in with really light strokes. Like I'm really barely tapping, like I'm not aggressively rubbing. I'm just tapping it in, rubbing it in as such, and it looks beautiful. Okay, now we're gonna do cream blush. I love the Patrick Ta products. I know there's so many cream blushes out there, but Patrick Ta like just does it for me every time. I literally have like an assortment of these because I just love them so much. So I have a few different shades. I have She's a Doll, which is like, it's picking up kind of light on camera, but this is like a really bright pink in person. And then I have, let's see, I have Just Enough. As you can see, she has been well loved. And then my current obsession has been, this is called She's Different. And this is kind of like a more, I don't know how to describe this. I'm gonna just say like a more brown kind of blush. And I love me a good like bright pink blush, you know what I mean? But this lately has been my obsession. So I think I'm gonna mix a couple of these actually. I think I'm gonna mix the She's Different with She's a Doll. We're gonna combine the two of these. I know they're like very different, but trust the process. I'm also going to use this same brush. This is also from the TikTok shop. This is like a very kind of dense brush, and it has a very small kind of tip, which is good for blush because I really like to be particular about the placement. So I'm just gonna go in with a little bit. This stuff is so pigmented, you do not need a lot. We're just gonna start going on my cheek here. I've never been a fan of liquid blushes. I used to use Rare Beauty all the time, but it would never last. Ironically, I know a lot of people love Rare Beauty with their liquid blushes in particular, but I've never been a fan of those specific ones because they just do not last for me. And it sucks because I actually use Rare Beauty's powder blush, which you'll see later, but their liquid blushes just don't do it for me. Now I'm going in and She's Different, and you can see how this just darkens it, but it is so good. It's so pretty. I hope this is picking up well on camera because in person, this is looking like stunning. Okay, you kind of can't really see it on camera, but trust me, this in person, this combo is gorgeous. And then I do like to take a little bit on my nose, just on the top up here like that. My goodness, it's so pretty. Then sometimes I will take my beauty blender and I will just kind of go over it a little bit just to make sure it's all blended, because blush that is unblended sometimes it looks a little scary. Okay, so now we're gonna go in with concealer. Is kind of a hard one. I have tried so many different concealers and I've had so much bad luck with them. I do have, let me get this little thing out of the way. I do have some very small fine lines under my eyes, and it's totally normal. Like, I also have smile lines. It is completely normal to have those on your face. Like, just like a disclaimer, like, don't feel bad about having these because I get them too. We're literally human beings. So I'm gonna show you my concealer collection really quick because I'm not joking when I say I have so many different, oh my god, different concealers. This is my collection right now. I used to have more. So in my collection, I have the Maybelline eraser. This is a really good drugstore one, really good. NARS, I just have the small baby version of it because I'd use this a lot to spot conceal. Tarte, this is gonna be my go-to. This one, this is their Radiant line. This is not like the normal, you can see the cap isn't like the purple normal one. This is my holy grail. This one has never done me wrong. I also love House Labs. This concealer is not as creamy. I mean, it's creamy, but it's very matte and it's really nice. I really like this one as well. And then also another good drugstore one is the NYX. This is the Can't Stop Won't Stop concealer. This one also has really never done me wrong. I've also loved this one too. But like I said, I love Tarte. This is the concealer that I always go back to. I literally always go back to this one. This is in the shade 12N. This is Fair Neutral. With this one, since this is so heavy, I always wipe off the excess on the cap. And then we're just gonna put a little bit under my eyes. Again, this stuff is so thick. You do not need a lot of this. I mean, if you are going for a very heavy look, then yes, but I usually don't, especially when going to work. So I put a little bit here, a little bit on my chin, and I usually leave it at that. I found that in my T-zone area, so like on my forehead and down my nose, the more product, the worse it looks. So I try and stay away from that. I'm gonna go in, so this was the end that I used for the blush. I'm gonna literally go in on the opposite side and I'm gonna blend this in. But I'm gonna wait a little bit because this concealer, you have to kind of wait for it to get a little bit tacky. This stuff, like if you immediately blend it in, I've discovered it's not as good as if you wait. So I'm gonna wait a few minutes, like a couple minutes. Oh my god, I just dropped like all my concealers. Okay, anyway, we're gonna start blending this in. So I'm gonna start with a brush, but then I'm eventually gonna go in with the beauty blender. So I don't really do this in any particular way, but I do tend to pull my concealer upwards. So instead of just drawing like with concealer, like a straight line, I just blend it upwards. And again, I'm doing very small tapping motions. Like, you're seeing this blend, right? This concealer is so, oh my god. Like you and I are seeing this, right? Like we're seeing this. It's just insane. Personally, I found the Radiant line is more better for my skin. I did used to use the old, you know, Tarte Shape Tape that everyone knows, I guess you could say. But this one, I didn't know about this one, but I found that this one is honestly, it's better. Like I like it better. So it's all blended in, and then I'm gonna take my beauty blender and just really pack it all in. And this I don't be as precise because I'm trying to at the same time blend it with my blush and everything. Also totally forgot I have another concealer as well, the Too Faced Born This Way. So that's what, 6 concealers? Okay, so now we're gonna get into powders, and for powders, this is where the layering comes in. It's not gonna be anything in particular. I'm gonna just put everything, like put powders everywhere that my creams are in. So I'm gonna start by putting some powder on under my eyes. And before I do, I always try to blend out all the creases, because if you don't blend out the creases, then you're gonna set the creases. So I start with a pressed powder. I love the Fit Me powder. This stuff is, in my opinion, one of the best drugstore powders that you can use, pressed powders. Anywho, so I just take a powder puff like this, just any old powder puff. I really rub this in, and then I just start packing this underneath my eye. I find that I like how pressed powders with a loose powder on top looks. I also go over this with my nose because my nose tends to get really oily. So this area gets just packed with powder. I also go on my forehead. Again, packing in the powder because it will come off throughout the night. I also tend to go down here along my chin and at the bottom of my face like so. Perfect. Then I'm just gonna switch gears and I'm gonna go right in with the One Size loose powder. This is an Ultra Peach, and the Fit Me powder is in the shade 130. I forgot to mention that. Oh my god, my hands are shaking from my caffeine. I have tried a lot of loose powders. I used to be kind of a holy grail of the Huda Beauty, but I have found that the One Size is just so good. If you've never tried it before, I highly recommend. Really good for keeping oils down. It makes your makeup super matte. It's just really good stuff. So I'm just been gathering this on my powder puff, and then I'm just gonna go again right under my eyes. I'm just really packing it in there, and I'm doing, again, really light tapping motions. I'm not swiping. The swiping is just gonna pull your makeup all around. That looks so good. Okay, this powder's kind of getting everywhere. I'm scared. Oh my god, it's gonna literally go everywhere. Oh my god, oh my god. Fuck. Okay, going in on the other side. This stuff is just so, oh my gosh. And really, out of all the powders that I've used, this is the only one that has really kept everything in place all night. Like, this stuff is worth the hype. And Huda's always a great option too. Like, that's definitely the other big name brand that everyone talks about. But personally, I think I've had better luck with this one. I'm gonna just put more, like I said, it's going in the exact same spots. I also sometimes will like to take like a kind of a big fluffy brush, like this is also from the TikTok line, and I will take my pressed powder and just get some of that on there and really just kind of go over all these areas. As you can see, I'm really packing on the powder. This, honestly, what I've learned, don't be shy with the powders. With oily skin, at least. The creams, I tend to always go less on the creams and more on the powders, because the more creams with the oils, it just doesn't mix well. So I'm just packing all that in, and it looks amazing. Okay, now we're gonna do bronzer. I've also 2 different bronzers. So my main one is the Charlotte Tilbury. My god, that scared, holy fuck, that scared the shit out of me. My dog was just scratching on my door. Oh my god, that scared me so bad. Okay, anyway, so this is the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. This is in the shade, it's number 2. It's just shade medium. And I will take this and then a big fluffy brush, like a big one like this. This is from Sonia Kuziak. This is at Target. These brushes are really good for the price that they're at. So as you can see, I've barely even made a dent into this bronzer, but I just pack a lot of this on, getting it all around, tap the excess, and then I just tap this all into the areas that I put the cream bronzer. Just big tapping motions like this, and I tend to start at the top and work my way down like so. Again, in the winter, I am not shy with the bronzer. I get so pale that I go crazy with bronzer in the winter. And honestly, frankly, it probably looks kind of crazy sometimes, but I don't really care because I get too friggin' pale, so we go crazy. I also then will blend this down on my neck. I tend to do it around my chin and ear area, and I just get that all down there just so it looks cohesive and not like my face and my body are two different colors, because that always looks a little bit scary. I really get it low down on my neck. And then on my nose, I don't really contour my nose. I literally just put bronzer, even with this big brush, I just put it on either side, even sometimes on top, and I kind of call it a day. I have never found that nose contouring really does anything for me, at least. So I just kind of pack it on and call it a day. And it looks so good. This stuff is amazing. Then I will take the Hoola bronzer. This is by Benefit. This is also kind of just a good, this one has also never done me wrong. I'm gonna put this on my eyelids as eyeshadow. If I can find an eyeshadow brush, the fuck? There's one brush in particular that I'm looking for. There it is. So this is also by Sonia Kuziak, I believe. There's no label on this, but I'm pretty sure this is from her. And I'm just gonna get that in there, tap off the excess, and really just go over my lid just to darken up my lid a little bit. Also with eyeshadow or any like small brush in particular, I always hold the end and I go really kind of light with it. This stuff is really pigmented, so it doesn't probably look like I'm going very light with it, but there we go. And honestly, when I do mascara, some of this will come off anyway, but as long as it's just a little bit darkened, I'm okay. And then I usually will just put a little bit more down the sides of my nose. Kind of pull it together, down under my eyebrow, and boom. Okay, next we're gonna do blush. So like I said earlier, I use the Rare Beauty blush. I love this stuff as well. This is in the shade Happy, and this is just like a really pretty, it looks kind of coral on camera, but it is more like a bright pink in person. And this stuff is, I love this color so much. I really need a better way to organize my brushes because I'm struggling to find stuff right now. Oh my god, where is it? Here we go. This is the Real Techniques brush. I don't know, this is just their blush brush. You can't, there you go. And I just really get up in there and I tap off the excess. And again, I start high and I work my way down because I don't want it to get super like, I don't want there to be too much here and then not enough up here. So I work my way down. The reason why I love these blushes as well is because it has a little bit of shimmer in it. I've never been a really big highlighter person. I will put a little bit on, but I've never loved it. So there's another train going by. Oh my god. Okay. But yeah, as you can see, I'm taking a look at my viewfinder here. You can see it has some shimmer in it, and it's just, the color is just super pretty. And then I also will go over my nose again as well. I also then sometimes put a little bit on my chin just to really bring it all together. Sometimes I'll throw a little on my forehead. Again, just pulling it all together. Now what I like to do is I like to take a little bit more powder. I'm gonna use the Charlotte Tilbury. This is their airbrush. Dude, why? There, that looks a little bit better. This is their airbrush finishing powder. And I like to take a little bit of this on a powder puff as well. Same kind of thing I did with the Fit Me. I like to rub it in and just go right under my eyes just to really, again, finish it off here. And I'll pull it down a little bit around my nose, and that just helps kind of pull it all together. Now I'm feeling like I want to do highlighter today, so we're gonna put some on. This is, again, this is the Rare Beauty highlighter. This is in the shade Exhilarate, and this stuff, talk about a little goes a long way. This stuff is so pigmented. It is insane. Like, so I've had this for a while. I've barely made a dent in this. I take the smallest amount on this fan brush. This is from Sonia Kuziak. Tap it off. I wish this camera would pick it up how much is falling off the brush because it's crazy. And then I do very light swiping motions up. You can see that. You can see I've shown this in my video before. I'm going super light with it. And then I'm gonna go a little bit down my nose, a little bit across, a little on my underneath my eyebrows, maybe a little bit on my upper lip too. And there we go. Now we're gonna slowly finish this off. So we're gonna do mascara. I've tried a lot of different mascaras. Oh my god, I just dropped so much stuff. I don't know if you can see that. I just dropped my palette. I just dropped some of my eyeliners. Anyway, as I was trying to say, my mascara collection is not the craziest, but I do have a few different kinds. I have the Essence. This is the Lash Princess. I have Maybelline's Firework. I have L'Oreal's Panorama, but my all-time favorite is L'Oreal Telescopic. This one is beautiful. Let me organize this real quick. Oh my god, I can't believe I just dropped all that stuff. So I'm gonna do this off camera because I really have to lock in, and I will not speak when I do this, so I don't want this to be like awkward as hell. But I'm just gonna curl my lashes like normal and then just put this on as usual. I don't do anything really special putting on mascara. I just do it as usual. Yeah, I'm gonna do that real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, I went ahead and just finished mascara. A lot just happened off camera. I just had to try to change out my battery 4 times because it was about to die. I have batteries all over my desk right now because I couldn't find one that was charged. And I was like, oh my god. I also went ahead and I wiped off all the excess makeup off my lips, off my eyelids, also off my eyebrows. You can tell my eyebrows are a little bit darker now. So let's start with a lip combo. I'm gonna do the exact same lip combo that I've done in the past. This is gonna be the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. And I'm just gonna line my lips as usual. A good technique when lining your lips is to keep your pinky on your chin and use it as kind of like a stabilizer. It's so pretty. And then for today, since we're kind of going a little glittery look, I'm gonna use the Jisoo lip oil. Oh my god, this is literally so fucking pretty. Like, are you kidding me? This is, I think this is like their watermelon flavor scent, whatever you want to call it. And this stuff is literally gorgeous. Also, it smells amazing. I literally just want to eat it. My goodness. I'm just looking at my viewfinder because I'm looking how pretty this is. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Last but not least, we're gonna top this off with my all-time favorite setting spray. This is the One Size setting spray. Guys, if I can put you on anything, it is this. It feels like hairspray, but if you have oily skin like me, this is like holy grail. Makeup doesn't move. Does not move. I've tried setting sprays after setting sprays, all ones that have kind of like a more watery liquid formula. It does not stay on my face. If anything, it just melts my makeup off. But this stuff, my makeup doesn't move. But I pull this really far away from my face because this stuff literally is like, it's hairspray. It's literally hairspray. Oh my god, don't sneeze. Okay, I'm okay. And that is gonna be the finished look, guys. This makeup came out so good. Of course, with oily skin, it's gonna move a little bit, but y'all see this. Y'all see the beat. Like, don't play. Y'all see it. Ooh, don't look at my messy room. All right, and that's gonna be it, guys. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, stay sexy.